It's time for the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan. Blake Sloan, one of the top real estate agents not only in the Grand Strand, but in the world. He's been featured in Forbes magazine, Wall Street Journal, NBC, and many other publications. And now, the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan. It's that time again when we talk to Blake Sloan coming up in just a second. In the meantime, over the next 30 minutes, you're going to be hearing so much huge, great, awesome information. You're going to say, what did he say? If you want to get more about what he had to say, it's real easy to do. You can either like rewind your tape if you're taping the show, or you can just give Blake a call at his office at Sloan Realty Group. Sloan Realty Group. The phone number is 843-808-SOLD, 843-808-SOLD, or go online to the website at blakesloan.com, blakesloan.com. We'll repeat that contact information several times in the next 30 minutes if you didn't get it then. So in the meantime, let's bring him in. Here's Blake Sloan.
Good morning. We've got an awesome brand new show. A lot of great stuff to go over today. Also, we'll talk about this craziness in the mortgage world. We just hit a huge high, 7-year high, back down a little bit this week. So we got a little relief from that. We'll talk about what's kind of fueling that, what's going on there. We'll talk about the market numbers. Anybody that missed last week's show, you can check it out on YouTube. We did the micro market numbers, which is per zip code. We'll talk about this week, the overall macro numbers for anybody that missed the kind of overall. And then next week, we'll hope to have the newest numbers out from this month. They're pretty soon. So overall, it's pretty good news. Some interesting stuff, a little bit of a drop we'll talk about in single-family sales, which we'll see. We're seeing that across the country right now, too, with this just shortage of inventory everywhere. And so that's one of the big things we'll talk about as well. The good news is the South had one of the highest increases in buyer traffic last month. We mentioned that last week on the show, just not getting enough time to cover that, so we'll get that as well. And really, I want to go over really the two things that we didn't have enough time to get to the past few weeks, right? The ones we talked about we're doing with a lot of high-end clients, and myself as well, is some land trust purchase, how that works, how I can save you a lot of money, a lot of fluidity. I guess how you say that word, fluidity?
Yeah.
Yep,
Right.
fluidity. That's a great one there. It's like an SAT word. Great, some different flexibility there as well. And also, we had this forever. We never got to it too. I really want to get to it, especially coming into this hot summer season. Is 20 tips to prepare your home for sale. It's super simple, super good, but it's super valuable. My goal is obviously to bring as much value to you all as possible to help you make good decisions. That's what we'll do here today. Also, though, got some brand new success stories. Really cool. I set myself a new record. We talked about another one that somebody on my team did recently. I set myself a new record. We'll talk about that here today on the show as well.
All right. A lot of great stuff to get to. As you heard, jam-packed show as always. In case you're just tuning in for the very first time, you don't know who Blake is. It's been called the Real Estate Wizkid. He's been featured in Forbes magazine and Wall Street Journal, Realtor magazine, other national publications as well. How about TV? That's right. You've seen him on NBC. You've seen him on the morning show with Fox and Friends. How about endorsements? That's right. Sean Hannity, Glenn Beck, Barbara Corcoran, Gary LeBlanc, all endorse him on this very radio station. Now, put those all together, it's unprecedented in the real estate world. But what about some of the ways that he buys and sells? Well, his trademark systems are used by people throughout the country. And the thing about his trademark system is it all starts with a very simple prospect. And the very most important thing about that trademark system is something that Blake wants to share with us.
100%. Made a promise to make sure that we talk about every single time. It's something that I'm passionate about because I see the problem with it, right? And ultimately, the problem is everyone makes this mistake of thinking that all agents are the same, right? They think that they're basically a commodity, which could not be further from the truth. And so the reality is just like any doctor, lawyer, anything at all, if you're, basically if you get a sickness you don't want that's life-threatening, you want the absolute best. It's the same thing when you deal with your largest asset, right? If you're charged with a crime you did not commit, you want the absolute best. So don't, ever settle for anything less than that when you're dealing with your largest asset. And so the fact is, in selling a property, there's 118 different variables from A to Z. If each one's handled correctly, guess what? Puts money in your pocket, property gets sold. Anything's handled incorrectly, which happens a lot, right? AKA the ball gets dropped, that costs you money, right? Leave money on the table, your hard-earned equity, or the property does not sell. And so what most agents do is they just get a listing. They pretty much, promise you the world to get the listing. They put it to MLS, and they just pray someone brings a buyer, and they get the next listing. They spend most of their time hunting down the next listing instead of servicing what they got. And the problem is, like I mentioned, there's 118 variables from A to Z. So what we did, we identified all those variables. Most agents have no clue what they are. That's how we know there's 118 of them. But we create a system. I create a system that's proven repeatable, that creates maximum leverage every single point. It's like stacking the dominoes. So at the end, there's a big gap between us and everyone else, right? So you spread that out just like run a marathon. Everyone starts at the same time. At the end, right, there's a big gap between us and everyone else called the guaranteed sold system. The only proven system to sell homes twice as fast and for up to 20% more money than traditional methods. And it works very, very well. Anybody we've seen, we sit down with, it absolutely blows their mind. We just listed a house for someone who's a realtor here in our marketplace who was absolutely blown away. They do not work for us, but they were so blown away what we did and how it works. They listed their own personal property with us. And so that's happened again. You've heard that a while back. I actually interviewed him this week, potentially join our team. And so we'll talk about that as well. But that's the overall facts from the seller side. Guess what? On the buyer side, the exact same thing, but opposite sides. So there's 100 plus variables in the home buying process. With the same exact thing, stack the dominoes, a proven repeatable system that gives our clients a competitive advantage. So if you manage each one of those variables, right, and you create this little distance over time, it gives you a huge competitive advantage in the back end. It's the same exact thing we do that's proven repeatable, where most agents are just trying to wing it right now. And so it allows you to kind of differentiate yourself and really actually match up buyer and seller and sell for more money. Obviously, if you're a buyer, it gives you advantage when you're buying. So part of what we do gives you absolute best access to foreclosure, distress sales, desperate sellers, right? It's called the unfair advantage home buying system. We also get you access to the best financing, the lenders who lend the most money for the best rates, depending on what buyer type. So are you a conventional loan? Are you a VA type loan, right? Are you FHA type loans? We know who to match you up with, who's the most aggressive, who can help you out. And we do that by leveraging a lot of transactions. And also, really, the most important part is negotiation, right? Negotiation through the home buying process and both the purchase price and also through the home inspection. There's a lot of things that come up, and you need to know what you're doing to be able to make sure you can represent your client. And the problem is, and I'm going to say this every week from now on because it's such a crazy thing, is that the average agent in our marketplace sells 3.57 homes a year. I did a report. Barbara Corcoran and her team wanted me to have an updated report. It's always been around 4 for our market since I've been in the business. We did an updated one for last year and dug it out. You take the amount of homes sold by the amount of agents, it's 3.57 homes per year. The problem with that is they can't hardly afford to pay their bills at that amount, much less spend any money marketing your property, period. That's it, right? It gets put in MLS and it sits there. And so that's the reality. Everyone claims they're number one. In reality, that doesn't mean anything to you, the home seller, right? What's tangible? What do they bring to the table? What do they spend? How many buyers do they got? Those are the questions you need to be asking. And so I share this every week because the reality is so many people make mistakes of listing or using somebody to buy that has no clue what they're doing and cost yourself $10,000, right? The reality, the problem on the seller side, they say, well, I sold my house, my friend. They don't know they left $10,000 on the table. Right. Don't be the one that does that walks away $10,000 lighter. Reach out to us. Reach out to somebody who's an expert. At least, check with us before you go somewhere else. 843-808-SOLD. They make a big deal. And obviously, as you can tell, that's why I'm pretty passionate about it.
All right. You can definitely tell you're pretty passionate about it. If you want to find out more, you can give Blake a call at his office at Sloan Realty Group. Sloan Realty Group, as he said, the phone number is 843-808-SOLD, 843-808-SOLD. Coming up in just a second, we'll find out some of the most important numbers you'll hear all weekend long, the mortgage rates. Also, we'll get a real estate update as well. As Blake said, we went into the micro markets last week, so we'll see what's going on in the Myrtle Beach area right now as far as real estate. That's all coming up next on the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan.
Hey, it's your friend Sean Hannity. Now, if you own property in Myrtle Beach, the national marketing plan of the realtor that you choose is absolutely critical. Now, that's exactly why you need to talk to Blake Sloan at Sloan Realty Group. Now, Blake has a marketing system on a whole different level than anyone else in Myrtle Beach. That's so effective at capturing local buyers from around the world that he can guarantee to sell your home at a price and a deadline that you agree to, or Blake's going to buy it. While most agents rely on yard signs and open houses that attract the occasional buyer, Blake attracts hundreds of buyers each month, which creates demand and helps your property sell fast and for top dollar. Now, that's why, on average, Blake sells a property every single day of the year and is ranked among the top 100 agents in the entire U.S. by the Wall Street Journal. Now, working with Blake is risk-free. If you're not happy, Blake gives you the freedom to cancel your contract and pay nothing. So give Blake a call today at 808-SOLD. That's 808-SOLD. Or just go online and see Blake's interview on NBC at blakesguarantee.com.
Hi, I'm Barbara Corcoran. To sell your home on time for the most money, you need a sharp agent with a marketing strategy that creates the most demand. Bottom line, you need a partner willing to put their own money on the line for you. In Myrtle Beach, I would hire Blake Sloan. His international marketing creates so much demand that if your home doesn't sell at a price and deadline you agree to, Blake will buy it. Partner with an agent I trust. Go online or call and get your home sold.
Welcome back to the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan. Coming up in just a second, we'll check out to see what the mortgage rates are for this week. I know we went into the micro markets last week, Blake, but what does the latest update on the real estate market look like now?
All right, so quick recap for everyone that missed a couple weeks ago, the overall macro market, like what's going on. It's slowly getting a little better here. So take single family home sales, which is kind of what sets the pace, right? That's what pretty much everyone here listening owns, or at least, has at least to worry, they worry about the most, right? What's my house worth? So ideally, if you look at sales last month for single family homes, resale homes, sales are down 2.8%. It's actually better. If you remember a few weeks ago, it was down 4%. But as realtors who are, again, busy trying to do everything themselves, put sales in a little bit later, the numbers are finally getting a little more accurate. So right now, sales down 2.8% from the same month last year. Finished up 482 sales last month for single family resale homes, which is good. Everyone cares about price, though. What's the price? There's great news in the price. Price last month up 7.5%, which is good. Median price right now, 214,900, which is awesome. If we look back into January this year, it was 190,000. So we're smoking right now at 214,900, which is great news for everyone there. If you look at the 12-month rolling average, price is up 7.7%. And so how do you have sales down, prices up? It's all supply and demand, right? We know that the challenge here a lot of times has to do with inventory. We talk about this every month, every week a little bit. Right now, inventory is at 5.4 months. And so it dipped back down a little bit. Anything below 6 months is a seller's market. You want to take advantage of that while there's still stuff on the marketplace right now. Again, I've talked about in the past, there's a few other places outside of here, like Northeast. A lot of friends, there's only 1 to 2 months inventory in the market. There's a stalemate because no one's moving. They can't buy something else. They don't sell what they have. And so it gets very, very frustrating for a lot of people. And so what you see is a very, very good sweet spot, especially when you combine that with our marketplace here, kind of what's happening with our seasonality, right? We're very seasonal here in that regard. If you look at the monthly numbers for new construction, great news overall. New construction last month closed sales up 6.4%. So that's one of the first times in a while we've seen it up, which is great news overall. The 12-month rolling average sales for new construction is up 12.2%. So great news there overall. And the sales price new construction up 5.8% last month. Median price around that right now, 244,555. So great news in new construction. That is our number one competitor right now because we see a lot of neighborhoods. Developers bought, lots or infrastructure a while back that was kind of being flushed through from the entire, I guess you say, downturn, and they're building a pretty cheap product. But ideally, we're seeing some of that get flushed back out. You're seeing prices recover pretty well. Inventory is pretty much flat for new construction, so they're keeping up with demand, so to speak. And look at the month-to-month, 5.6 months of inventory in condos as well. And so again, great news overall there as well. Looking at condos for basically resale condos. Sales up 9.1% last month, which is awesome. There were 549 condo sales last month. So if yours didn't sell, guess what? There's 549 other ones that did. And so the reality is things are selling, things are moving. If you look at the 12-month rolling average for condos, 11.3% increase in sales, which is awesome. And 5,487 condo sales in the past 12 months. So again, if yours did not sell, there was a lot that sold, over 5,000 other ones that did. And so the reality there is making sure that it gets marketed right, handled right from that standpoint. Sales price the last 12 months in condos is up 5.8%. The median price for that 124,000. If you go to last month, which is like the most recent time, right? Up 6.7%, which is great news. 128,000 is the median price, and so great news over there for condo owners. So what's that mean overall? We're recovering well, right? We're seeing the same thing. Prices are kind of leveling off a little bit. Remember before, we're seeing double-digit growth. Some what we're going to be able to have that take into impact here into account is ultimately interest rates, right? We've seen that jump up. We'll kind of talk about that in a second, but that's the one thing that we want to take advantage of as everyone predicts those are continue to rise. It is going to hinder some buyers from entering the marketplace at some point. We've seen that a little bit already. As rates have gone up, it disqualifies some people from purchasing the amount they wanted to, right? They can still qualify. They can't qualify for as much as they want to spend in a house. For example, if they could qualify for 250 before, they may qualify just for 200 now because rates have jumped almost an entire point. And so the reality is you may see that hinder some of the different areas of the marketplace. We still absolutely crush it in the high, and we just sold 3 homes in the past week and a half, over 650,000 to those cash deals. And so the reality is you'll still see some of that stuff move based on the type, but that's one thing to keep watching as we come into the summer. We want to take advantage of people who are coming into town who've been looking in the springtime. They're going to be a little less affected from everyone obviously seeing the rates go up, because guess what they've been doing? Sitting back for months, stalking these properties, and obviously looking for something to come in. They're coming in town when school gets out, which is coming very, very, very soon. And so make sure you take advantage of that. Don't wait around again, like I said before, until October and then call us when rates are at 5% and we're at the end of the season. So that's one thing you don't want to do. You want to play supply and demand in your hand, right, to make sure you take advantage of that. And that's something super cool as well. Right now, the rates, 30-year fixed rate, 4.67%. Great news, actually, is actually down a little bit from where it was last week. If you guys remember, last week it was 4.79% for a 30-year fixed rate. We'll talk about it in a second. There's been some huge headlines here the past couple of weeks where we're a 7-year high. What's happening is that the news is finally just catching on to what was happening last week before. 15-year fixed rate right now, 4.10%. 30-year FHA loan, 4.42%. And a 5-year adjust rate mortgage right now is at 3.92%. So we dropped back down below 4, which is good. But we just saw last week, a 50-week high and also a 7-year high overall, which is important to kind of look at. And so the one thing we talk about, why are interest rates so high overall? And just kind of look at some national reports from Freddie Mac's chief economist. They said not only are buyers facing higher borrowing costs, gas prices are now currently at a 4-year high as we enter an important peak home sale season. So that's something we talked about as well. As a home seller, you want to take advantage of that a little bit before we get into, obviously, rates keep rising, gas prices keep rising, and you get towards the end of the summer. Because here's the thing, people come in town, they buy, right? They're not going to wait to the end of the summer to come down and buy, right? If you've been waiting and stalking, you're going to come as soon as possible to take advantage of that. And so make sure you're on the market for June or July if you've been listening, right? If your friends are out there that did not get their house sold or yours was on there before, make sure reach out to me today. 843-808-SOLD. You have a friend out there, like I said before, club them in the head, and then make them call Blake, right? Because they need that. You don't want them to waste their opportunity for 6 months with some, AFA, we call them, the average frustrated agent that just puts it in MLS and lets it sit there. And then they come back as a frustrated home seller trying to get their property sold at the end of the year. Like we always say, we're good. We're not a magician, right? So make sure that you're able to help them take advantage of that in the process, from that standpoint. And one thing that's interesting, people talk about, how does, gas prices play into that? A lot of things they talk, the price of oil and inflation often seen as being connected, kind of like a cause and effect. So as oil prices move up or down, inflation follows that same direction. And so that's just something to kind of be aware of that we're watching. It doesn't play a huge part. I think we're in a really good spot here that we play because a lot of times other areas like Northeast, parts of California, Florida see things a lot earlier than we do. And we're really tapped into a lot of people from up north, right? Everyone from up north is selling their house right now for 400, 300, 600. Coming down here buying something 200, 250, and we're dialed in. And my team is really just mastering that from the buyers coming in town. We serve them, give them amazing service, come and help them, and they're buying a lot. But I'm also spending massive amounts of money online. It's scary money online, but that's where everybody's coming in town from. And so we're driving traffic there, which we'll talk about. But it helps our sellers tremendously in that regard. And so that's just one thing to keep watching. Rates dip back down, but obviously the long-term trend is everybody's talking about. It's moving back up to where it's been before, up closer to 5%. And so everyone, if you guys remember back even on YouTube, back in January, February, we talked about what the predictions were for this year. Well, those predictions were, if you remember, that rate should be up at 5% again. And so we're getting close to that. It's earlier than people wanted to. But make sure you're taking advantage of this. I hate I'm beating a dead horse, but we all kind of need to hear that because it's coming into our season. Everybody that's grown up here, I grew up here, born and raised here. But as a kid, remember, guess what? It's time to make the hay while the sun shines in the summertime, right? That's when everyone comes in town. It's the same thing from a seasonal aspect in our marketplace. We're not that seasonal, but we are to a point because what I found is these buyers who are looking are coming in town and buying. Now, it takes 45, 60 days for a closing. So you'll see that show up statistically 2 months from now, which is the end of summer. But the reality is they're coming to buy when? Right now. And so make sure you're prepared for that. Make sure, and here's the thing, if you're not sure about what you may need to do to your house, we help walk you through that. We pretty much do our own staging consultation for our clients. We know what to do, what not to do. My job is, a lot of times I find that most home sellers think that they need to do more than they do, right? Ultimately, it's not near as bad as you think it is. It's not, I have people that say all the time, oh, Blake, I'm scared to even have you come over here. It's so bad. We come over, it's in immaculate shape, right? So I think everyone tends to be a little more critical on themselves or their property than anyone else is, right? And so we're able to show you kind of what those quick, we call it gingerbreading things are, to help you gingerbread it up, make it look great, pop. And I'll talk about a few of those in a few minutes, but we make it pop for you to make sure that you can get top dollar. That's what we're good at, right? We always constantly pricing things the highest they'll go. And guess what? Delivering. And so that's something we're good at. That's something I want to be able to do for you or your friends, relatives out there. So anybody thinking about that, make sure to reach out to us, 843-808-SOLD for sure.
All right, sounds good. Coming up in just a second, the show continues, the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show, as we give you your hot buyers alert for the weekend. Also, we got some amazing success stories that you just got to hear about of people who are employing Blake and seeing the results from it. Give Blake a call now at 843-808-SOLD, 843-808-SOLD, or go online to blakesloan.com. It's blakesloan.com. The Expert Advantage Real Estate Show continues.
You like your home on time and for the most money without all sorts of excuses? Hi, it's Glenn Beck, and when I had to sell my home, I went through several agents who all had good ideas, but the bottom line is they couldn't get the job done. You know, you have a celebrity in your own town. When I lived in Myrtle Beach, no question. How do you call Blake Sloan of Sloan Realty Group? Blake has a marketing system that reaches buyers from around the U.S. and around the world, and week after week, he attracts hundreds of buyers, and that creates incredible demand. And that's why he can guarantee to sell your home at a price and a deadline that you'll agree to, or he's going to buy it. Plus, you don't really risk anything when you list with Blake, since if he doesn't live up to the contract, you walk away free and clear. It's really no wonder why Sean Hannity and I, along with real estate tycoon and Shark Tank star Barbara Corcoran, endorse Blake. Call Blake Sloan right now, 808-SOLD. That's 808-SOLD. Or visit Blake's website, that's blakesguarantee.com. blakesguarantee.com. Or listen to Blake's Real Estate Show every Saturday morning at 9 or Sunday morning at 11:30 right here on WRNN.
It is the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan. Some amazing success stories coming up in just a second. Right now, though, it's time for your hot buyers alert, and they are hot. Blake and his team working just a ridiculous amount of home buyers. They're all looking, as he just got done saying, in the Myrtle Beach area, and they are looking for homes anywhere in the range between $150,000 to $3.5 million. So if you're in that range, Blake needs the inventory ASAP. So give him a call right now at 843-808-SOLD, 843-808-SOLD. How many people are looking in the Myrtle Beach area? I looked on the computer just a second ago on Blake's website. There are almost 47,000, 46,948 active home buyers. And these are people who are looking on this website several times a day, not just a couple of times a month, because they want to be the first in line whenever that new listing hits.
Yes, this is the thing that blows everyone's mind. Even that person that, big shout out to Al out there. He's been an agent for a while, been an investor for a while, is a licensed agent here in our area with a different company, listed his house with us. We've already got pre-showings on that. That's not the success story, but the thing is, this, what Dave's talking about, is what blows everyone's mind. My business model we have gives us our huge advantage. We spend massive amounts of money online, driving traffic from all over the place. And then, you know, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, like right now, Frank Griffin's on here from Morgantown, West Virginia. Been here 116 visits. Andy and Adam's been here. We got Don Pridgeon from Lexington, South Carolina. Been here 886 visits. Lots of visits on that one. And so when you see this, it's like watching a bunch of little ants everywhere that are looking at properties at all times. And so we're driving so much traffic. Our goal there is to match them up with sellers we have, right? We're hired to match up buyer and seller. And so I know we say this a lot, but it's important to kind of reiterate because it's valuable, right? This stuff matters. It's a whole lot different than just taking a listing, putting MLS. But people make a mistake of just listening with anyone or anyone out there. And so the bottom line, if you're thinking about selling, reach out to us. There's a reason we have 46,948 buyers. My business model gives a huge advantage. We outspend the average agent literally 100 to 1. And so that's the huge advantage there. It's just like we talked about before. You can take that classic Corvette, right? Put it out in 501, probably sell it. And just put it in the parking lot in front of Walmart, whatever it is. You take the same classic Corvette, you put every Corvette enthusiast magazine, every Corvette enthusiast website, every classic car magazine. Guess what? You drive more traffic, more interest in it. You're probably going to sell for more money. It's the same exact thing that we do. But on top of that, we have a team model with a team of specialists. We have a team of salespeople who are pushing, who are hustlers. And obviously, you can tell from me, I'm pretty crazy. I'm intense. And that's what our culture is. We hustle, and we don't apologize for that. That doesn't bring a whole lot, from a lot of old school people. The real estate, we just had a second example this past week, which I brought up right for the success stories. But the second example, Dave, was somebody telling a client that Blake Sloan was dead, which is crazy, right?
Yeah, you said that before.
Which is freaky, right? This is sad. This is one of those things that, I don't say that try for anything, but there's a lot of competitors out there that can't figure out what we do that are probably listening right now that want to know what the heck, how it works. And so the reality is, if you think about selling or have someone, here's the thing, reach out to us, at least get a shot at what it does. And so I've had a lot of instances like this lately as everyone in the world is getting into real estate. This crazy stuff, like this is the second time somebody's told a client we're dead. Here's the deal. If they're having to say those things, or if you go with anyone who has to say something negative about somebody else, that should say enough. And so that's something that's really surprised me lately hearing that, seeing things like that, where people are just saying crazy things. Well, here's the deal. The person we had another one like, hey, my friend, told us basically not to use you, he's at the Moose Lodge with me. Well, if he's working part-time at the Moose Lodge with you, he probably is not the best real estate agent. And that's one thing that we were talking about, to my team this week. I was like, look, here's the deal. If people have to do that, to the consumer, if they're having to tell you those things, they're not going to say, hey, look, that's a great job. I'm glad you didn't use me. They're going to try to steal that business in that regard. So you use common sense. Everybody here is smart. We always say that, people allow, results don't. And the reality is the results. We have 46,948 active buyers for a reason, because those are results here. And so I don't run out of time. I kind of get off on that tangent because it's one of those things that burns me up a little bit, and I apologize for that. It's just I never thought I had to deal with something like that in this world, but I'm gonna continue to fight the fight for our clients, and I'm gonna continue to push the limit and push as hard as we can every time. So super cool success story. I'm really proud of this one. This is Roger and Cheryl. You've actually heard them on here before. This is the 6th house that we sold for them over the years. Been a great client for years and years. This is a property in Carolina Forest. They had single family home. They wanted to get it sold. They wanted top dollar. We priced it higher than anything else in the neighborhood. We launched our global marketing blitz. We have mass amounts of buyers. We have software that match them up, our new listings, with those 46,000 buyers. So check this out. We had it sold full price in less than 6 hours. That's my record there. Jeremy on my team, he sold one, I think, in like 3.5 hours a few weeks ago. 6 hours full price. And obviously we're pushing the limit on appraisals and all these things that we're getting. We've had a few come back in short. We're able to fight and push back against as well. And so 6 hours full price offer, single family home. And so and that's higher than anything else out there also. This is super cool one from last week. Mildred, she had basically was referred to us by a radio listener, which is super cool, but she knew her home so quick. And for top dollar, she'd already made a contract on a new construction home that was being built. Excuse me. She actually had her house for sale by owner for over 2 months, 0 success. And basically one of the things that happened is a neighbor who listened to the radio referred her to us. We came in and put our global marketing blitz, professional photos. We drove massive traffic, had under contract within 4 days for 99% of asking price. And so you see a success story after a success story here that's driving that. And so the reality is these are those same things I'm talking about, results, right? Results don't lie. The reality of that does not lie, where we continue to have all the things that we do, driving traffic, ears on the radio, on the TV, those things work. The guy who's working part-time at the Moose Lodge, guess what? You don't hear about that. The radio and TV, because it's a machine that drives traffic. And I hate to be bold like that, but here's the thing. We also are coming to the time of the year when things are mattering. This is go time. My team's full on point. My team's hustling early. We're hustling late. I've been up since 5 o'clock this morning, and I do this every single day. And so if you want someone you can count on, who you can trust to come and get the job done, reach out, call myself and my team at 843-808-SOLD. As you can tell, I've gotten pretty hyped up today.
That's okay. You're worked up because you're passionate.
Yeah, people tell me I'm dead, man. It's crazy. And so we're here alive and well, and we are crushing it. And we'll work hard for you. We'll work hard for your friends and your family. I'm involved in this thing. I work in 12, 14 hours a day because I love it and because I hustle, and that's who we are. So if you're thinking about selling, reach out to me, call me. If you have any questions too, call my office. We're more happy to help you and serve you. Even if you're not a client, we just do it to kind of give back, and I'm more happy to answer any questions that you have.
You're definitely not that. I can vouch for that. I'm sitting right across from you here. All right. Get in touch with Blake at his office at Sloan Realty Group. That's Sloan Realty Group. Don't be fooled by others. 843-808-SOLD, 843-808-SOLD, or go online to blakesloan.com, blakesloan.com. Anything you've heard about here today, he'll be happy to explain more to you and sit you down and give you all the details. Blake, thanks for everything.
Thank you. I'll be here next week.
All right. We'll see you next week for another edition of the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan.
Hey, Myrtle Beach, it's Gary LaVox, lead singer of Rascal Flats. When I'm Moving On won the award for ACM Song of the Year, it struck a chord with folks who understand the challenges.
Kind of went off on a tangent there, huh? Yeah, man. Second time. That's crazy, isn't it?
Will make some of your homes easy and stress-free. An agent who's willing to let you.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
It's gotten so bad. People just making up the craziest stuff. It's absolutely mind blowing. Like we had people like that Moose Lodge story is legit. I mean, like
I kind of figured it
you
was.
gotta do like work at the Moose Lodge part time, try to badmouth. You shouldn't use him. Like, are you kidding me? Like, this is craziest thing you say. But you know, it's just when you tell people you're dead, like there's a low below, and that's what we're seeing right now. Yeah, it's unbelievable. So I mean, it's